For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
So we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisine.
Open up the door, tell your mama hungry.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively.
What's up, family?
What's going on, Keith?
Not much. Look, getting to hang out with cousin Kelvin here on the ONG Strike Zone. Hopefully, we get show contributor Marcus later on. Filling in for Brian Fulford. A little under the weather. Look, if I knew earlier, Brian, I'd have sent you some of this tea. But
I'm sick. What's up, B, man? Hope you feel better.
Look, get you a hottie toddy. I ain't got no toddy in here. It's just hot. So, but it's that time of year, flu season. Hopefully y'all are feeling pretty well, man. But as y'all can see there at the bottom, if you are feeling so benevolent, feel free to donate to the ONG Strike Zone via the Jericho Broadcasting Network. Scan the QR code there, make a little donation, and helps offset the horrible cost of doing business over here in these podcasting streets. But how's everything going, cuz?
Man, everything. Hey, we champions over here, buddy. It's going well.
Okay, yeah, we've been telling y'all, don't let FAMU win some championship rings. We're not gonna know how to act.
So much winning, man. It's just so much winning.
Man, it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Track is winning.
Track is winning, and
golf is winning.
Golf is winning. I felt like we missed a little coverage on the golf team too, but golf winning. Like softball brought home a little trophy, a little something themselves. Like,
yeah.
And baseball put up a good little fight. So if you're on the highest 7 hills, it's a high standard up there. We expect excellence, and I'm hoping we see some of it. How about what you saw this weekend, Cuz, before we start some of the shout outs and everything like that, though?
I watched the track, man. I can't miss that championship now that Coach Elwin is there and they got it on SWAC TV, man, and I have to watch my guy, the most entertaining man in track, Kurt Dawkins. Boy, man, that's some good TV. They need to pay that dude. He is entertaining, buddy, and he's a multi champion too, both indoor and outdoor, man. But the way he does it, man, it's disrespectful.
He looked too comfortable. Like, you're not supposed to be running away from people and look that comfortable.
Yeah, they had him boxed in. I think that was the 800. They had him boxed in so he couldn't get started as soon as he wanted to. Man, he just popped outside, man, and turned on that extra gear and just made it look easy.
And I mean, Coach's birthday too. So Coach got, we're gonna talk about all those. It was some nice championship wins, man. But some of the folks we see here in the chat, I see Chuck Hunt want to scan it up, but up top, Kenneth Roser, hey, gotta make sure.
Ken, Alice.
You see Emmett Jones right there. Ashton, what's up, man? Good to see you.
What's up, Ash? Pico.
Little baby, what's going on?
Little baby.
Yeah, South Florida Rattler. What's up, Gail? See you over there, cousin Gail.
What's up, Gail?
She said she back in Tallahassee. Dodge that last snowstorm. Hey.
Yeah.
Then look at BCSN. Exactly. Support the BCSN if y'all aren't already doing so. What's up, Demetria? Friend of the show, Chuck Hunt, checking in from Monroe, Louisiana. Hey, stay warm.
That's right. Jimmy. What's going on?
V and Matt, I see you over there, man. So glad I'm from FAMU. Hey, you ain't the only one.
What's going on, Duval?
Look, we got B Star. It's good to see all the family come together, man.
Jab.
Troy's in there.
Jab was at the basketball game. Jab and family. Good to see you, Jab, man. And at least we got one win.
Yeah. FAMU basketball is that's a sore subject for the many, not the few. Say, okay. Johnny T, okay, NCCU, all right. Look, all are welcome here at ONG. We don't hate, we don't discriminate. We just celebrate. We try to celebrate champions over here.
Absolutely, we have champions. Good thing is we have champions that we can celebrate.
Absolutely, and I'm just kind of coming back and pulling some of them back up. I'll put them in there and make sure I give my coach a little shout out. Because. It's really nice when you can not only win a championship, but you can also get a little something, something extra on there where you are the coach of the year. And I feel like he's going to win the coach of the year twice in 1 year. Could be a little biased, but congratulations, Coach Ellenwood.
Congratulations, Coach. Well deserved.
So, and Coach was just on the ONG StrikeZone, what, a week or two ago?
2 weeks.
So, yeah. I'm just saying, if you want to win a championship, you might want to come on the O and the G. I'm just saying, it doesn't work for every coach, but it's just a good homage of things to come when you come on up there and come to the ONG StrikeZone and get your shine on.
Juju.
And then we also saw, you kind of mentioned them, but look, Kurt kind of got a little shine on too. Let me see if I can pull that up there right fast. So Kurt, most outstanding, and we got that on both sides. So I'm gonna get Kurt up there first, though.
And to that point, the men they end up being third. The only reason was because they didn't have quite enough people in enough events, but they was right there. I think they'll be right there, have a good chance to compete for the outdoor championship. But man, it was great watching the men program, seeing that it's back to a championship level. So yeah, kudos to the guys also.
Absolutely. And we talked about the guys. We can't forget, most outstanding player. The Rattlers kind of swept that. That's kind of crazy. You get it on the guys and the girls side, but come back over here, got on the track side, on the girls side. All right, Tara Burke.
Way to go, Tara. She was on the show with Coach a couple of weeks ago, and I think she had like 20-something points because she did the 1,000, the mile, I'm sorry, and the 800, and I think she finished in second in both, something like that. And then she did the relay. Man, I think she even did the 5,000, if I'm not mistaken. So she did quite a bit, quite a few events, scored a lot of points, well earned, well deserved. And the ladies, they won. And just think if they didn't have if they had a injured Gail Blocker, number one. And then early in the 60s, we had a young lady who was expected to medal who got disqualified in the 60 meters. So we still left some points on the table. But it was great watching them rise to the occasion. And we were able to, I watched the trophy ceremony and them being on stage and getting their hats. And man, it's just, Rattler Nation, we're proud of you, man. You had us smiling.
Absolutely. And, mentioning smiling, I mean, got some trophies to talk about. We can't be underselling trophies. The champs are here. Let me try to make sure I get that right, get that layout just right. I don't know why I want to act funny, but there we go. The champs are here. The women's indoor, is that back to back?
Yeah. Well, it's 2 out of 3. I think Alabama State clipped us in the indoor last year.
But so it's a good thing. I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there, and I'll make sure for those who don't know, this is I don't want to say this is the best year we've ever had, but it's looking up. To put it in modern terms, for those who aren't paying attention, it's only looking like it's going to get better. Like when you're looking at this program, what it's been, it's a good times going on at FAMU, and it's a good time for them to get a little bit of a break before, what was it? Yesterday, had a little baseball against Mercer. Today, you got bowling. Baseball again. Did they win today, cuz? I didn't get to catch it yet. Baseball and softball.
No, the only baseball score I saw was the 7-0 score out. So they got shut out, and softball got shut out today. Florida State, that was going to be a tough one. They're a great hitting team. Every time we played them in the off season, it was a similar result. But the ladies did go down to FIU and bring back some hardware and a great out of conference showing. I mean, they won 8 games already out of conference.
This is this one of the best FAMU softball teams we've seen? Like, I think all of us have kind of put the warning signs up there and the signals to let people know, like, this team is, I ain't gonna say as good as it gets, but I think they're as good as advertised. Like, this is going to be a team that I expect to compete for the SWAC championship.
Oh, absolutely. We expected that anyway. But Coach, we had all our receivers. All of our pitchers returning, a lot of our core lineup, and she went out and got some hitters. So and everybody looked as you say, as advertised. So I can't wait for the SWAC conference play start. And you know who we start off with and where? Jackson. We start conference play in Jackson in about 3 weeks, I think.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like on Sunday, that's Sunday they're gonna be here in Orlando, but I might still be at the Lord's house doing the Lord's work. So I might miss that one because I gotta be at church. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do on that one. But they got Wagner, George Washington. That's going to be in Orlando. Wagner here in Orlando. Dartmouth here in Orlando. George Washington, and then the UCF. So here in the City Beautiful for a few days, starting on Friday. We'll see. That's Saturday. I might make my way over there. Might make that a little daddy-daughter trip over there. But yeah, that's going to be some good times, and looking forward to seeing that going on. Just kind of knocking out the rest of the week slate so we can keep talking about these championships, right? Because it's a championship type of vibe today. Going into tomorrow, I did talk about the softball. Bowling. FAMU bowling's that program is turned around. I'm gonna keep it PC and be nice.
9 freshmen. They have 9 freshmen, and they will be in the SWAC tournament, conference championship tournament in about 3 weeks, I think, too.
Mm-hmm. Then we got a doubleheader for basketball, men's and women on it's at Southern on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
So we might get into a little more later on, but on the men's side, we're tied for 6th technically, but it's with Texas Southern, so they have the tiebreaker, I think. But from 2 till like 9, everybody's like 1 game off. And so if the men can actually sweep Louisiana and beat Cookman at home, they can actually finish 2nd.
That would be huge.
Still. Yeah, in year 1, that would be huge. And that also means you would have beaten Southern twice, Grambling twice, and got a win over the number 1 team along with close loss. So absolutely. And with the men's team, we had another center come in on Saturday. Well, I mean, he played Thursday too, but he got more significant minutes Saturday, and he put up 8 points. He knocked off a little rust. And then we also had Ndamo back. He didn't play Thursday, but he played Saturday. So now we got 2 6'11" footers. So what I hope that means is that since our perimeter defense can be porous at times, we can't keep those guards out of the paint. When our center goes to the bench, Ndama, then we have another one out there who can help defend the rim and also punish some people inside. We had who was that we played Saturday? We had them in Alabama State, was it? We had them in foul trouble the whole game. Yeah. We punished them.
Yeah,
I think they had a guy that fouled out. They had about eight or nine of them that so not 8 or 9, but they had at least 3 or 4 more that had 4 fouls. So that's going to be our blueprint for the men. For the ladies, we just keep rooting and hoping for the best.
I mean, that's all you can do at this point,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you definitely, because it's a work in progress, right? But overall, as you mentioned, and the men's basketball in particular is almost, you're right there at 500. Like you won't finish the regular season 500, but considering this team is kind of a hodgepodge, like I have to kind of curb my enthusiasm with the team a little bit because I realized this team was just kind of put together with what he could get, and he didn't get that full recruiting season. Getting that extra time to get a little recruiting gives me some hope that we're going to see not a completely different team, but a team with some more shooters. Like, I think this team is probably 2 or 3 shooters away from being competitive, truly competitive in this conference. You're not non-competitive, but you're not high level either.
Point guard and shooter.
Mm-hmm.
We need a high level point guard, some with quickness, someone that can help our perimeter defense, keep those guards from beating us off the bounce and getting to the middle of the defense. So definitely a point guard. We got wings, we got 2 guards, we got bigs. We need shooters, and we need a point guard or 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be interesting to see though. That's kind of where we got right there, right? Before we get back to celebrating these championships. And about a couple minutes, we got our coach come in and talk. I don't see it in the green room yet, but we have coach come in and talk. But going back to the championships, right? Because we talked a little bit about the track team. What was the part of this performance that was most impressive just for you as a fan and as a FAMU?
I think overcoming adversity. I mentioned on the ladies' side, first you had Blocker, the fastest woman in the SWAC, out for this season. She won a 100, 200, ran the relay last year. So that was a lot of points missing. But you brought in some capable replacements and they delivered. We didn't have someone who, we missed some points in the 60. But, that still didn't deter. And it came down to the last race on the women's side. It was us in Alabama State like it always is.
Mm-hmm.
And our ladies came through. Alabama on the 4x4. Our ladies finished second. Alabama A&M finished first, and Alabama State finished like sixth.
Yeah. That was good. That was a good race to watch, though.
Yeah.
I will say the only race I didn't enjoy was probably that last men's race, and it was just because the injuries and the hiccups.
Mm-hmm.
And but outside of that, I mean, it was a fun event to watch.
It was. And shout out to Mo Carter and Stan Beckton and I forgot the coach name who was on there. They did a really good job. Good broadcast, man. So appreciate it, SWAC. Your championship's supposed to be available so people can watch them in all sports, and so I appreciated that.
I agree, and I think with that one, you want people who are also knowledgeable about the sport, and who can give a little levity to it. Like, it was one of those things where you watched it and you really got to kind of get a good enjoyment of watching the events, seeing what was going on, and being excited about it. So I personally enjoyed it. I think really the SWAC at its core should really move to that with most of its sports. Like you said, you want them on the biggest stage, but you want them on the biggest stage on your network if possible. I mean, I understand ESPN has their part to play, but we're about to have FAMU Tennis head coach on there. FAMU Tennis Championship should be on SWAC TV. Honestly, more of the tennis matches. And I said FAMU Tennis Championship. Excuse me for claiming something already. You know how Black folks are. We name it and claim it. But
the standard is the standard.
But to me, I really feel like you should have more of those on there. Like the tennis matches that you host, whether it's at FAMU or it's FAMU having it at FSU or some other places, put those on SWAC TV, because that generates content, that's eyes, and that's recruiting. That's getting athletes to see the product and being able to see, hey, FAMU's on TV. It's on YouTube. And I may not always be able to offer you the NIL, but I can at least offer you that little bit of exposure. I can offer you that extra X, Y, and Z. So I think those are some of the things that sometimes, we kind of forget and we neglect just as a collective. Like, we forget the power that SWAC TV can be, not what it is.
Well, and there's an investment in that also, in that the schools, when they use SWAC TV, then they can run advertisement and things, and they get revenue. It's a revenue generator. So hopefully we'll staff up as much as possible so that we can do things. I know they've been experimenting. I know they've done a baseball game, and if I'm not mistaken, a softball game, I think. But I know they're testing it out, trying to do it. And so we absolutely have to take advantage of that platform that we control.
Absolutely. And I see Coach in the background, and time is fleeting. So instead of carrying this all the way to the 8:28 time, let's go ahead and hit the commercial break so we can get Coach in here. We on the other side of this break, Coach Nikki Houston, FAMU women's tennis is going to come in here. If y'all don't know, tennis season's coming up soon. Championship tennis program. I'm sorry. I'm petty. It's chapter of the year season for my chapter. And, we have an award-winning guide right, award-winning Kappa League. And FAMU has a championship-winning volleyball program. And we have a championship-winning volleyball coach. And we're going to bring it here on the OAG Strike Zone. Other side of this commercial break, we're going to give y'all one of the longer breaks. Tennis. I'm sorry, tennis. Look, I'm so excited. It's been a long day because FAMU tennis. So I was trying to look at the breaks, look at multitasking. So other side of this break, Coach Houston, FAMU tennis. It's too many championships to keep up with. That's the problem. It's a good thing. All right, so other side of this break, Coach Houston is going to be up here to talk. Get ready.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image.
We're back. We got Coach live with us. What's up, Coach?
Hey, how you doing?
All is well.
What's going on, Coach?
How you doing? Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on. Coach, before we even get into the interview, how's the little one? How's the little lady doing?
Taking over. You hear me?
How old is she now?
I'm running this household.
How old she is now?
15 months.
Oh,
Oof.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Brandon. Yeah, Brandon.
Yeah. Y'all finna get it.
Yeah. We already have, when they start walking and when she talking. So
okay. All right. Well, wonderful. So, Coach, I'm gonna start off with the first question. It's out of conference season now. You have a team where you have like 3 anchors, ladies who've been with you, and then you got younger people. What is it that you were trying to accomplish with your out of conference schedule, getting ready for the SWAT schedule, which starts in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, just getting in the them together, trying to figure out the the lineup doubles and everything like that. Getting some of our new people. We got 5 new ones that kind of comes with the 4 the experience is coming back. Just trying to get the the feel of playing different matches, good teams, learning, college is a little bit different than juniors. And so getting that experience for them, I think is what we're trying to look for during the early part of the season.
What's the biggest challenge you usually see with your freshmen coming from the high school to juniors and playing at this level?
Expecting they're going to win off rip, they played in the juniors and they've been dominating, and then you get into college, it's like, oh Lord, yeah, it's a different experience. And just learning, you got to be patient, you got to be more consistent, and that you're not going to win everything. So learning those aspects of the game is what the new girls are learning.
Okay, all right, Keith.
Yeah, and you kind of mentioned the players just in general, like how do you bring those new players into the system? I mean, Kelvin, he kind of dropped that the standard is standard before. We understand FAMU has created a standard in tennis. I mean, it's been there before. I remember when I was in college, we had a good tennis team. The men's and the women's was good. But now that they're coming in, how do they uphold the standard of what this is at FAMU and what you've created?
Just knowing that you got to put in the extra work, and that the other girls on our team is showing them that, like, you have to put in the work to get to the level that you want to get to. And I think our girls are doing a great job of letting them know and showing them that we have to put in that work to get to the championship level. It's just not going to come because of your talent. You got to put that hard work in to get it, especially here at FAM.
Coach, talk about the conference overall. I've noticed that the talent level at pretty much all the schools have gotten better, and it is extremely competitive. It's also extremely diverse in terms of the roster makeup. So kind of just talk about the SWAC conference coming up and who the better teams and what it's going to take to try to defend the championship.
Yeah, I think our conference has gotten better from top to bottom. I think all the schools have gotten new players in, and it's definitely going to be competitive this year. Just as like it's been this past 4 years that we've been in the 4 or 5 years we've been in the conference. We've always battled against Alabama State, Jackson State. Alabama A&M has gotten better. Southern has always been a team that played even when we was in the MEAC. So that's always a dogfight. So just, understanding that, each year is going to be a different style of play, different players coming in that's trying to get you off that championship block. So, we just got to go in and just work hard.
Talk about your recruiting for me, Coach, real quick. You've been able to bring in a couple of classes where you brought in 3 or 4 young ladies at the same time, and they've been able to play together, and they've still been able to win championships. So what do you look for, and how do you go about recruiting your players?
Yeah, I've always had a good system of coaches outside of this area that kind of reaches out to me and let me know, like, hey, I got a player for you. But they also know what I'm looking for. I always tell them, don't bring me nothing. You know what my standard is. So,
right.
Bring me somebody that's going to work hard, that's going to on and off the court, where we don't have issues that and again, with females, you're going to have a little bit of issues, but that's not causing situations. And I think, I'm looking for people that has good character, that's smart on and off the court, that are hardworking, and that are coachable. And I think the other coaches that I talk to know what I'm looking for. And that's kind of helped a lot with some of the recruits that we got in state and out of state, and also international.
And I imagine the fact that we're a winning program don't hurt either.
Yeah, and it doesn't. It does not at all.
With that, Coach, you talked about just the program in general, and we do know in the past, really half decade, we've seen upgrades made to the tennis facilities there, and new benches, and really kind of getting it refreshed a little bit. What are some of the other updates and upgrades that you're kind of hoping to still potentially see happen at the FAMU tennis softball complex?
Yeah, and I heard y'all talking about earlier about the HBCU live, and that's one thing that we've been trying to do, like these couple of years. We've done live streaming with our at our courts, and then this year we're trying to we are hopefully get the streaming up with track tennis going for this Sunday's match. So it'll be live, so people can looking out of state of certain certain players that they want to see, because we want to have streaming on all 6 courts. And so that's one thing that will help with recruiting, and just with the players get this, their parents get to see them play that don't get to see them come in town. So it definitely helps us with our tournament play, definitely helps us with our practice. So having that streaming live is something that I think is definitely a big upgrade for us. And then again, we're still trying to work on the South 6 courts, get them resurfaced. We talked to university, and that's something that is definitely in the future that we're trying to have done as well, to have all 12 courts being resurfaced and new to play on.
Coach, a question that I've never asked that I want to know, does anybody have, from an NCAA standpoint, does it matter if you have indoor versus outdoor courts?
Well, we're officially still an outdoor sport, because those spring sports, even though they have indoor tournaments, and especially in the north, a lot of times they just play indoors. But for the outer season, we are an outdoor sport. And so, I mean, it's good to have indoor courts, but we are in Florida, so the majority of it is going to be good weather. But we do have those days where it might be raining, or these past few weeks has been cold for sure. It's good to have those indoor court, but we're really an outdoor sport.
Got that wheel spinning of, could we ever just put a covering over the tennis court? So that's
at least over the sitting, at least over the spectator area anyway.
Right.
And that's one thing. Another thing, I know you was talking about upgrade. We are looking into shading just for the spectators, because when it gets hot out there. So we have a good crowd during doubles, but when we switch over to singles, they like, nah, this too hot, we got to go. So we are definitely looking into getting shade for the spectators, so they can stay and be cool and watch it in a comfortable setting.
Coach, I've heard a lot of the other coaches, everything is people looking at metrics and they're using software and stuff. Do you have a software for tennis that you use, and if you do, what do you use it for?
We don't really have software. Like I said, we do the video that we kind of look at those playing style and kind of do old school of how many defaults they're doing, how many aces they might have, the unforced errors. But we don't have a specific software that we're using right now.
Along with the upgrades, the canopies and the other court, has any thought been given to it? I thought I saw, so you may already have it. Do we have the digital scoring system?
No, we do not. Okay. We don't. Yeah, we still do the sliding up and down, which is still cool. I think ours is, still pretty top notch, just having the rattlers and the visitors of the sliding metric, but we don't have the digital scoreboards yet.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Hopefully in the future.
Look.
We're gonna speak it in, Coach.
For sure.
Hey, you can't say it, I can say it. You're a championship coach. So you got a right to ask.
Yes, sir.
That part. Let's bring Marcus in. Marcus, welcome. Look, I got to make sure, you got to have David Ruffin come in now every once in a while, David Ruffin in the all jokes aside.
These are the temptations.
But and don't know how much you've heard, Coach, but and Marcus, don't know how much you've heard, but you know who Coach is, what she's done, and so we're just kind of picking her brain a little bit, and asking her the questions we get away with, not get her or us in trouble, right? But when you're kind of looking in, Kelvin mentioned just the student athletes that you're bringing in, and a lot of times we kind of forget that there's a wealth of talent here. How has the advent of pickleball affected college tennis and your ability to recruit? Because, I mean, that thing's taking over. We have pickleball at my school, and we in the hood, and them kids are like, we don't really want to do it, but we'll try it. How has that affected your ability to recruit student athletes to play tennis?
Oh, actually hasn't affected us too much. I know we do have a couple of people that come use our tennis courts to do pickleball, but it hasn't affected like the recruiting. Some people are just still not, our tennis players not pickleballers. I know I have a couple of friends who play pickleball and is like trying to get me over there. I ain't going yet. I ain't going. They can't get me over there right now. So
fighting coach.
I definitely know that it's picking up pickleball, but that's not for me right now.
Why is that, coach?
I'm just old school. I just love tennis. I know
Okay.
I love tennis, and racquetball is my other sport that I kind of play. But pickleball I just haven't picked up yet.
Yeah, I imagine it's a lot slower than tennis and racquetball.
Yeah, for sure.
Man.
Marcus, you got something for coach?
No, I didn't hear the earlier questions. I guess you've already given the outlook for the team for this year. And I know that, I guess, seems like we had a lot of new players. So, what's your outlook for the team and prospects once we get into conference season with a lot of new players and a couple of veterans coming back, but it seems like the majority of the team are new to Florida A&M.
Yeah, we was fortunate enough to have 4 come back out of our 6. So I think that helps a lot with the development of the new players that come in, for them to guide them to, be ready for SWAC play that's coming up next weekend. So they have been learning a lot. They're getting better. We're trying to fight the injury bug right now. So if we can get past that, like we did last year, I think we'll be okay. And again, with, people going down, this just the next person up. So these ladies has been stepping up, getting a lot of match play. So I think that's a good thing sometimes too, just, kind of know what your veterans are doing or have, and it's good to see what your new players can do.
Well, thank you.
Coach, you don't have to give this answer right now because you may not have it. But I see Troy asked the question of, I mentioned about a digital board. At some point, if you have any idea what the tennis digital boards cost?
I haven't. I've been kind of focused on right now just to get the live streaming and the shade. I haven't really looked into the digital. I know we do have a spot for it. I have that, but just haven't gotten to how much it costs and stuff like that.
Okay. All right. Whenever you do get that information, pass it on to us. We're gonna challenge Rattler Nation.
For sure.
We like to brag, talking about all these championships we got and sell all these Wolf tickets. So we need to back it up by supporting you and putting some resources behind it.
Yes, sir.
I'll ask this question. It's not directly FAMU related, but it is Tallahassee related. We do know, for those who don't know, we have the Tallahassee Tennis Challenge. Is that an event where some of our student athletes are able to ever compete in or anything like that? Or, just kind of putting that question out there. I don't know how that works, but, just asking the question.
Yeah, so most time it's just for the men. So our females doesn't really kind of play in that one.
Gotta step our game up, Tallahassee.
You just brought up something that I just want to touch on. I know that we got Title IX and tennis is Title IX sports for us, and we used to have men's tennis, and the SWAC has men's tennis. So is there any discussion about bringing men's tennis back, and what's your thought on that period anyway?
Yeah, it hasn't been a discussion. We just got an AD in January. Yeah. But on the outside, it's always been discussion to bring the men's tennis team back. We had a really good tennis team. I think the last time was 2017 that we won it in the MEAC. But before then, Dr. Goodman did a great job with the men's tennis team. And, that even now, the guys that I see that's playing at other schools was like, I wish you had a team here at FAM, because FAM is ultimate school here. So I know a lot of people will want the team to be back here, and then like I said, they've done great things with a lot of guys that played on the team or professional coaches or local coaches that are doing well in the tennis world. So it's always good to have a men's women's team together. It helps out a lot of times when we go play. When we're playing in championships, other teams have their men's program. You know how men get a little bit more rowdy. So it's like us playing against the world when we're playing these other teams. But it's always good to have a men's team that has that support with you.
Tell me the difference with coaching the men's tennis versus women's tennis.
To me, it's kind of the same. They always say, like, women gives a lot of problems, but sometimes the men be doing they a little different, and they get over it. They get over it a little bit faster. But but as far as tennis wise, it's the same strategy. I mean, coaching strategy. It's just they're a little bit faster and quicker than the women's programs, and they might come to the net a little bit more than the females do.
Is it? And I think I know the answer to this question, but for the teams that have both men and women program, do they have like a director of tennis that kind of oversees both the men and women? Then they just have assistants underneath them?
That is correct. You have the director of tennis over both programs, and usually have an assistant that does more majority of the men or more of the women.
Okay.
And much to Kelvin's point, he kind of mentioned it. We do brag different. We brag a lot because it's a championship product. I mean, if it was lesser, then we wouldn't brag. But I mean, I'm not gonna go on my diatribe about how amazing FAMU is. I could go on all night. But when we're talking about bragging different and really just the success this program has had, some of that success also comes in support. We do understand organizations like the Rattler Boosters, they do support. We also know Tommy Mitchell is one of those. He's also been one of those people who's also contributed as well. But how do we make sure, for those who may not be as inclined or, interrelated to those groups, how do we get the funds directly to you? Like, so that they hit your hands, your pockets, so that they go to our students and your purposes?
Yeah, our foundation, our code is 0010, just directed straight to the tennis program. There have been a lot of support that has given money to us, USTA, 220 Club, Tommy Mitchell, like you said, when we go to these different areas, have supported us a lot, and we thank them very much so. So that's kind of the count that goes directly to us.
Coach, how often do you get new gear and uniforms, and do you have any sponsorships for any of that stuff?
No, we go through Nike. That's a major sports sponsor, but I just make sure that the young ladies have all that they need. And a lot of times when we get funds to our donation, to our foundation, I make sure that they get the extra pair of shoes, the rackets that we need, the bags that we need, and string, because we kind of go through string kind of quickly. Well, tennis shoes too. So anything that's extra, we have a budget that comes from the department, but the extra stuff that comes through donations, it goes towards those clothing, the extra stuff that we need, and meals and everything like that.
Okay. Do you all in the women's complex, Lou Bartley? I know that there was a weight room over there, but do you all have like nutrition over there too?
Well, we don't have a direct nutrition like at the field house. We kind of separated from the different sports. I know, for us, we keep it in our locker room. So a lot of times we go get the nutrition and put it in our locker room, so the girls will have that in between time. So that's what we've been doing for a few years.
Okay. And right. Of course, the question's always got to be, can the alumni get their hands on some of that merch? Because all the alumni, they want to look like y'all. We want to dress like y'all. Look, I promise you, I told my wife I was not buying another pair of FAMU tennis shoes for a little minute so I could stay out of trouble. But, right. How do we get our hands on some of that? And even, are there opportunities for where some of that can be auctioned off so that those funds can generate revenue for the program?
Yeah, I've been talking with BSN. We have a like a locker room kind of setting for just for outfits that we're kind of building right now. And it's almost completed, and I'll make sure that I'll send that to you guys once it's completed, so everybody can get that, like you said, merch for FAMU tennis.
Coach, do you have someone assigned to your program from like media relations? I see, other sports. I see where they, when they participate in this video, there's, I know bowling. I know they have. I watch their streams live, so whenever y'all go live with y'all, I would definitely be watching. And we'll make sure that we get word out through our platforms too. But do you all have anybody, student, anybody assigned that travels with y'all and does y'all stuff like that?
No, we don't have anybody that travels with us. Sometimes we have students that come during our home matches. I don't think we have, enough right now to get into with the traveling. But once we do, usually during like the SWAC is when we start to see more.
Right.
And then other teams are, completing theirs. They become more available.
Okay. All right.
Well, Coach Nikki, I had a question for you. I noticed, I guess, looking at the roster, that you have 3 folks who may be completing their eligibility this year, 2 seniors and a graduate student. And I did notice there's one young lady who gave a verbal commitment earlier in the fall. What's your ideal roster size, and have you secured verbal commitments to maintain that roster size?
Yeah, our roster size is usually around 8 players. I do have 9 this year. I had a walk-on that came on and has done very well. But usually I try to stay within those that limit, roster limit. It's just easier to manage. I know that we got our limit up to 10, but I try to keep it within that 8 or 9. And yes, to answer your question, yes, for the fall, I'm still looking for one more, but so far, I've already signed 2.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Coach. Okay. We got a couple more. Got you for a couple more minutes there, Coach. We know you probably got to take care of little mama, get her ready for the night. We all understand. We fought that fight. But when it comes to that part, right? How is that work-life balance going as far as, FAMU is a demanding place. We do talk about the championships and everything like that, but you have a demanding alumni base who's also has high expectations. You have high expectations of yourself, but you also have the responsibilities at home. How do you balance all that, and while also creating a good atmosphere where it seems like the players want to come back, they enjoy their FAMU experience, even the ones who transfer out, they seem like they still hold FAMU in high regard?
Yeah, as having a great support system. My husband has done a marvelous job because we do travel, and he keeps her, during the weekend. So that does help. And then, having friends, like when we both have to do something, that will help out. But, still understanding, your work is where you bringing in these young ladies, and you develop them not just to be great tennis players, but also a great human being. And so they get to see, what you're trying to live up to. It's just not about, when you get here, it's just school, and then that's it. Once you graduate, you got to live up to the expectations that you set for yourself, have those goals, and then strive for past college. So, having a good support system, having these young ladies get to see my daughter and my husband and come out to support me during, the season, I think they respect it and understand, it's not just about tennis.
Okay. Sounds like we got a championship winner. I know you can't say we're gonna win the SWAC championship in front of everybody. It's okay, Coach. It's okay to be humble. That's what we're here for. We're here to talk that trash and sell wolf tickets. And Troy has eyebrows to shave. So so we're gonna win the SWAC championship. And the question is about how many wins, right? But when it comes to that, Coach, like as we get to that, just you started the season now, right? What makes the journey like worth it as far as what do you sell the students at the beginning of the season? Because it is a journey. You start the non-conference where you're out of conference, you're playing teams where sometimes people think you overmatched, sometimes they just don't understand we just better than everybody else. And then you finish the season and you get the SWAC play, and it's the competition, it's the grind, and it's all leading up to that final charge. How do you keep everyone motivated, but also how do you keep everyone's eyes on the prize?
Yeah, just really tackling the small things. When we get out there during practice, actually today, I had to express like it's the small things that you do here in practice is going to help us build up to the championship. Again, the championship that we won last year was last year. This is a new group, and for you to get to that space, you have to do the work right now. So, we're playing tough out of a conference for a reason. It's for us to get better and to see, the ultimate goal. But you got to put in that work, that little smaller things, and then really kind of focus on executing while you are here. And so I think, again, they are buying into the system. They're understanding like it's not going to be overnight. They understand even if we win a match that you got to come back because somebody else is going to be waiting for you the next day. So understanding what we're trying to accomplish, understanding what we have to do to accomplish it, I think is what keeps driving these young ladies to get better.
Oh, you're on mute, cuz.
I got two questions and then I'm through. All right, Coach. How often do y'all practice? And what time do y'all usually practice?
Yeah, in the spring, we start practice at 1:30 to 4. We usually do that is because during the spring at the beginning of January, it is cold. I've done practice in the mornings and so usually in the spring, we start at 1:30 and we finish around 4 o'clock. And then when we're in the fall, we start at 9:30 and we finish because it's hot when we're in that fall, starting to fall. So yeah, we practice every day. Sometimes on Saturday if we're not traveling. So we practice every day.
Okay, and then my last question is, when do you figure out, like this season, when do you figure out who's going? Well, I'm pretty sure you know who your number one, your number two is, but when do you think you figure out your lineup in terms of what doubles work with each other and your 3, 4, and 5?
Yeah, so usually in the fall we play a lot of tournaments, and that kind of shows me who can play in that top position and who can play towards that bottom position. We've been kind of still experimenting with our doubles just because we've had injuries that's kind of killed us a little bit. So we've been experimenting just in case somebody does go down, that we got a backup plan to it. We know what kind of works together, and we know what we still kind of need to improve. So hopefully, like I said, again, like even from last year, we made a change like mid-season. It was like, okay, we thought this was going to work, but it didn't. So it just depends on how well we keep continuously to get better. But usually I do know kind of who is at a certain point who can play up in those positions, because it's just a style of play sometimes. Some girls are going to be a little bit more powerful. Some girls are going to be a little bit more consistent, and that's usually the ones that's kind of towards the bottom.
Okay. All right. Got it. Thank you. That was good insight.
Yeah, we appreciate it, Coach. In any part of the shots, we're about to go to a commercial break, but we want to make sure, we give you the last word to all of Rattler Nation going into the continuation of the season. Season already started. We want the people to, hear from you, hear why they can support you, share again where they can support you, because, we brag different, but championship rings ain't free.
Yeah. Again, I just want to thank you, all the supporters that have come out to support us, whether it's financially, whether it's just showing up at the tennis courts and supporting us. We really do appreciate it. And again, you can donate over the foundation. Our code is 0010, or just send it to the foundation, say women's tennis, and it'll go to a good cause. These young ladies definitely appreciate everything that you have done and shown for them. So again, thank you, and fangs up.
Thanks up. All right, Coach. You have a good one.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate it, Coach. Oh man, championship coach right there. Going to a break because we know Marcus might have to get busy a little bit. So when we come back the other side of the break, a little bit of FAMU recruit, not a lot. It slowed down a little bit. I saw a basketball recruit go out there, and we're gonna talk some more about the program and some of these championships. We got to hear from Marcus. How he felt about FAMU. What softball championship, track championship, golf. We didn't even really talk about the golf championship. I mean, it's a good situation up there. All right, y'all, gonna give y'all a quick little break. We'll come right back on the other side, back to the ONG Strike Zone.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a state, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
So we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell your mama hungry.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
And we are back. We're back. Champs are here. That's all, keep it short, keep it sweet. Let them know. Give them a little extra orange and green. Just, I'm petty like that. Just.
You such a homer.
I am. A little extra orange and green for the people, though. So, Marcus, did you catch the track beats, man? Kelvin and I talked about it a little bit. We're also going to talk about this FAMU golf team a little bit,
No, I didn't catch it.
Okay. Were you surprised with the results, though?
Track. You said track meets.
Yes, the track meet.
Oh, I thought you said trap beats. I was like,
no.
What is this?
No trap beats. I'll leave that for the
T.I. and T.I. and 50.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was watching. I had it on the screen on Sunday. I had it up. I was doing some work, but also had it up on the Swag TV. So yeah, I was watching and I was looking at the scoreboard. I was like, oh, it's coming down to the wire. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sitting there sweating.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Kelvin kind of mentioned earlier, we talked about really the SWAC using SWAC TV for events like that. Like that was good TV. Like it didn't matter if your team was in the top 3, you were watching it. And I think there's an opportunity for more of that, where the SWAC can really kind of create an atmosphere in an area where people are literally watching the games and watching week to week, but watching something consistently.
They had a production company doing the production. So you had a broadcast team with someone down with the athletes after they perform. Then you had a track coach up there with a veteran play-by-play in Mo Carter. So, you had a good team there, and then the production was so good that they had the split screen at one time where they had 3 events at the same time. So I hope they do that for all the championship program, because those student athletes and coaches deserve it. And we as alumni fans who watch it, we deserve that kind of product. And the better product SWAC TV is, the more revenue opportunities for the schools and the conference.
And also, I like the fact that when it got near the last couple of events, at least on the women's side, because it was really, I guess they showed it for both, but they actually had a split screen, I guess similar to what we do here on using StreamYard, but they actually pulled up the live results and showed how many points. I think FAMU, we were up by 2 points. Either the second to last or the last event, where they actually pulled up the screen and showed the updated standing. So that's another thing, is that in years past, you kind of had to refresh on your browser or in your phone to see the updates of the score and understand what's going on. So I think it only goes up from here. And I think as support and technology allow, mimicking what we may see during the Olympics, maybe not on the same scale, or some of the graphics and updates and things of that nature will only enhance not only the broadcast itself, but enhance interest. And it's good also to have folks like HBCU track and field doing live results or live tweeting some things and giving accolades. And hopefully that helps to promote the programs. I noticed I think there's a couple schools. I think the ones that I've seen, at least HBCU track and field promote, like there's a couple Class 6A schools in Texas, and there's one in DC. Is it Dunbar? I can't remember the name of the school, but that were like high school track, like juggernauts, and just cranking out. So hopefully the reach of SWAC TV for all the teams allows us to be able to attract those student athletes to come and run for our schools versus defaulting or going to all of the Power 4 schools like Arkansas, the Tennessees, and the ones that have been up near the top for men's and women's track and field traditionally, but also look at our schools.
Absolutely. No, I saw that, and kind of like I love that right there. I'm like you. All the games that are on SWAC TV, I'm watching. I mean, I saw where you and Brian was talking about earlier, where the Alcorn State, some of their games aren't on there. We kind of understand maybe why, but it was interesting. And Gerald for the show thought y'all was about to play some Jeezy. Not today. I say that in the car. But Gerald, man, have y'all been following Gerald on social media? I'm just gonna say it like this: if you're a FAMU and you don't follow Gerald Thomas,
incoming message.
I don't know what to do, because I saw him at the baseball team, and he's been in football practice, and I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it at
that. Absolutely, and of course, we watch everything he does, and we got a private group going and everything. So yeah, but Gerald, the Rattler, Gerald does an awesome job, man, and he's Johnny on the spot with what he does. So definitely, what is it, rattlernews.com with his TDO stuff, and then of course you can always follow him with Gerald Thomas 3PG. That's right. Something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I think also though, man, it's I'm loving the interviews from Quinn Gray. You know, and no talking about nobody before Quinn Gray, but in this era, I like that you can tell he understands the assignment. He understands to put enough bravado about this program to not also put down the predecessors, but to also lift up what he's trying to do, because he's out there wearing the merch. He's wearing the Restore the Strike merch. He ain't out there just, you know, oh well, ho hum. Like, no, he letting y'all know he plans to restore this whole strike, and that if y'all ain't been out there, come on, get your merch. And he ain't telling you don't jump on the turn, don't jump on the train. You know, come on. He's doing a great job of selling the brand.
Well, you know, generally when you've been successful and you know what you're doing, you have confidence because you prepared. And that's what we see. That's what I see out of Quinn right now. He was prepared when he got this specific opportunity. He's done every step he's taken on a ladder up until this point has prepared him to be at FAMU, but more importantly, to be successful at FAMU. And I guess we can go ahead and start talking about the coaching staff, which was all introduced at 220 Club, and we kind of beat around the bush last week with the final announcement, but he was at 220 Club too, so we can kind of talk about that staff. And what I will say before then I'll let y'all jump in is that I personally feel, and this is not me being a homer, this probably would be the strongest staff since the Jay Gaither and Rudy Hubbard days, the staff that they had. Now, you know, those guys are legends, but I see the same kind of pedigree with the staff that he's putting together. And of course, he was on Coach Billy Joe early teams that had Buzzard and a lot of legends on that staff too. So I think it's going to make a huge difference. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna let y'all take the lead on talking about the staff, because y'all already know who my favorite coach on the staff is already. Like, I'm biased, but you know Neyron's my new favorite coach on the staff, right?
That's what I'm saying, man.
Like,
they slapping it out the part with the people they choose to keep around. You look at the coaches from last year, the players, the grad assistants. Man, it's just very talented people, but very good people too. And I'm gonna let Marcus kind of talk about what he sees in his staff and what he likes, and then I'm gonna make one more comment.
I like, I guess, the combination of experience from all the staff members, and I also like, and I'm trying to mentally make sure what I'm saying is correct, that the experience, the hometown, and the familiarity of all the coaches seem to cover every corner of the state. Now, I'm not sure if we have someone that covers the Panhandle West going towards Alabama. I'm not sure if like the Tallahassee contingent of coaches that introduced themselves today would handle that. And I'm assuming that Coach Gray and or someone else may address the Jacksonville area. But if you look stateward on down and just across the state line, based on Coach Gray's recent experience and the folks who are from the Big Bend area, we've got South Georgia connections all the way down to Miami. So, you have Neyron coming as a defensive assistant grad student, so he could handle the Gainesville area, because that's where his schooling is from. So that Alachua County and a lot of the large schools there. In terms of the Jacksonville area, I guess Coach Gray and maybe a couple other folks there. We've already seen an extensive amount of class of 2027 offers go out to prospective student athletes in the Miami area and in the St. Petersburg, Tampa area. So just hitting all the hot spots for talent, but also the experience that they bring in terms of pro experience from Sam Madison, Coach Gray, Chris Cash from back in the day, Ron Dugans, Coach Ron Dugans. So you have all that. I'm sorry, Coach Morgan. He could probably, Toriano Morgan probably handle the Jacksonville area since he's former Edward Waters coach. So we had not only have experience, improvement, success from folks who've been program building, but also people who have contacts in the major areas of the state, and also presumably contacts with the areas that aren't as large, but still have a productive teams or players that could benefit the program well. So I think it was a great hire. And like I said last week or whenever it was, that the coaching staff here, based on their the new coaching staff, based on their experiences, I think we may see similar to what we saw with Coach Simmons, in that after being successful, these coaches are going to move on to other roles and make and get promoted. So I could very well see this being, once again, a launching pad for the coaches as well, based on the program's trajectory and their experience. And it only bodes well because it shows that you can develop quality coaches here that would go on and get promotion to at the professional ranks.
Yeah. The only thing I'm gonna add, Keith, the high.
got you one, huh?
Two.
So for those who don't know, though, could you share kind of who the coaching staff is? You know, some may have missed 220 Club, some folks that was doing the good work of the Lord, trying to stay out of trouble.
Are you asking me or Marcus?
I'll let you lead it. I know Marcus might have the spreadsheet ready.
For the coaches, no, I might pull up Gerald's article and just add the couple of names that have added since then. Let me do that real quick. We can run down names and positions.
So I'm gonna go off top of the dome real quick, and I'll do the coaches I'm familiar with first. All right. So Larry Williams, he's a FAMU grad. He's from the Miami area, but he was a volunteer coach after his playing days in a GA. Been at a lot of programs from Tennessee State to FAMU to University of Florida in different roles.
That's a pretty big get, though. Can we not undersell just one kind of getting that person who has that UF experience, right? And I'm not a UF fan. I'd never hide around saying I can't stand University of Florida, but that experience of the way they run a machine is very different. And so I think that can be beneficial, especially having him as director of football operations. That's pretty big get right there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And he knows the university because he worked at the university, not just as a GA. He worked as a OPS employee also. So I know the field was lined and the
grass was cut today too.
Yeah. having Larry in that role helps, let me tell you.
Yeah. Quinn Gray meant what he said when he was talking about y'all got to earn practicing on this football field.
Yeah, and I love it. I love that mentality, bringing that, teaching this group of kids the tradition and work ethic, what it's going to take to be inside of Bragg. Now, I'm gonna name, like I said, I was gonna name the coaches that I'm familiar with the most.
Oh yeah. I got Billy Roll's graphic ready. So
Coach Roll, of course, was on Coach Simmons' staff. He set out last year. He was a candidate for the head job when Coach Simmons left. He was considered. Of course, he's a legend, high school legend. Won 3 championships at 3 different schools in the Miami area. Yeah, yes. In the Miami area. Great with recruiting. So as you can see, he's player personnel, director of high school relations. There's not a coach in the state that don't know who he is, that he can't reach out and contact. Another great person to have, and gonna tell it like it is. One of the things, we heard rumblings, about last year's staff where maybe one person was kind of making all the decisions and influencing. You won't have that with this staff because you got people who are gonna speak up.
People with experience.
Who carry weight. You got a head coach that's gonna listen to it and want that kind of strength around them. So I'm looking forward to just that. And then of course the next two that I'm gonna talk about. The high. No, I'm talking, but I'm just talking about the high.
Okay.
Then I'll let y'all jump in. So you got Ron Dugans, who's the wide receiver coach. Of course, played professionally for the Bengals, played for Florida State. And you have Sam Madison, who played for the Dolphins and the Giants, got a Super Bowl ring with the Giants as a starting cornerback. Got a Super Bowl ring as a coach with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Not too long ago.
Yeah. And both of those guys played at FAMU, the high. And I had the pleasure of actually not that it had anything to do with me, but I did have the pleasure of coaching both of those guys in high school.
I mean, but
great men, local, but they've been a lot of places and they've been successful wherever they went. One of the things about Sam that sticks out to me, I know at a high school level, I know what kind of player he was and person he was. But the fact that he was able to go to Louisville and pretty much start immediately and play both ways most of his career there, he got snaps on the opposite side of the ball. It tells you the caliber of athlete he was at the time also. So I'm very proud of those two gentlemen, and I'm glad to see them back in the orange and green.
Absolutely. Orange and green. And also just even with Sam Madison, though, I think one of the things this generation definitely loses is the understanding for who he was. Like Sam Madison and Patrick Surtain for the Dolphins, that was one of the best defenses in the NFL. Like they had let's be honest, that offense sucked. And I don't want to be mean to a Dolphins fan, but you literally had sometimes where it was Surtain, Madison, I think Zach Thomas on that defense and Jason Taylor, and you literally had teams who barely made the playoffs because you had like Jay Fiedler as a quarterback. But you didn't have no difference makers on offense, but them defenses were solid and led by those secondaries.
And another interesting thing is that a lot of those, once I started hearing the rumors about it, and Kelvin and Brian kind of helped me with that. You look at Sam Madison and the other players you mentioned, like Jason Taylor and Pat Surtain, they integrated themselves into South Florida youth leagues and high school ball. So I think Sam Madison and Taylor both coached at St. Thomas Aquinas. So hopefully that's an inroads there. And just how they integrated themselves and stayed around the game, and to what benefit, if it will, hopefully it will, lend itself towards opening some doors at schools where we may or may not have had a trickle of recruits, especially ones that are winning multiple titles, or in the title championship game every year or every other year, like a St. Thomas Aquinas or other schools of that ilk.
Absolutely. And I think another one a lot of us are excited about, that defensive coordinator. Like, I'm sorry. After last year's defense and what we saw and what we witnessed for the year before wasn't as bad. Last year was atrocious.
It was bad. I got a summary of. I do my annual look, compare year over year stats, and we fell off. I don't know if we fell off a cliff. We fell off an abyss on the defensive side of the ball. The numbers, and we were even kind of holding our head about 2024, but 2025 was even worse. So this will definitely, if he replicates his past success, then it won't be long.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be long. I also think we can't undervalue the fact that you kind of mentioned Quinn brought some people with him that he knew. I think Chris Cash. I think this is I think it's a stepping stone job for him. I don't know how long Ryan Lewis stays as our DC. I think if you have the season that we all kind of expect that this defense can have, he won't be long for FAMU, and that's not a bad thing for a guy like Chris Cash because that gives him the opportunity to step back into that defensive coordinator role. But I think he's going to be a voice that you're going to hear, you're going to see, and I think there's a purposeful intention on fixing that secondary from last year. And I was not surprised. Again, Nayron is my favorite coach on the defensive side because at times last year, you saw where he was putting people in the right position, even as just a player and on the field. And you give him that chance to kind of come in and use those abilities as a coach. I think all of a sudden, FAMU becomes that place that we're talking about where it continues to be a cradle for coaching. Like, you talk about Pata and him going down to Miami and the things he's done. You just had FAMU's former special teams coordinator get a contract with the Vikings. You're seeing, literally FAMU is becoming one of the places in the SWAC that you come to FAMU and it's a launching pad to get coaching jobs that are not just in the NCAA, but in the NFL. And I think that's just one of those things you continue to see going forward with this this naming as safeties coach and just in general.
I agree.
Absolutely.
And also one of our former players, I mean, this is a side note, one of our former players who actually was a coach down with Coach Simmons down at FIU, Football Scoops are reporting he's getting an offer to go up to Georgia Tech. I saw that today.
Yeah.
So once again, speaks
Demons.
to the development.
Oh, TJ. That was my boy. Yeah, that injury took him out.
I guess the next coach, and I don't know if he has a graphic. I know there's a graphic, but I don't know if he has one of the official FAMU ones. Coach Morgan, Toriano Morgan, coaching the running backs and high school recruiting coordinator. I think that, is
an assistant head coach too.
And assistant head coach. Forgive me excuse me for not saying that, but yeah, I think that'll play dividends because of, once again, his experience in developing running backs, his contacts within the Jacksonville area. So we have some of the larger schools in that area and just recruiting the state before as head coach at Edward Waters. So I think he'll be a second set of eyes and help to maintain the improvements we saw in the running game last year, especially with some of the returning players and a couple of new players. And also the way that the staff is splitting responsibilities as it relates to the recruiting aspect, where he's heading high school and Casey Warming is responsible for the transfer portal and junior college recruiting. So I think that'll work out, splitting that duties and being able to tap their respective contacts to make sure that we can get inroads into some of the best players that we're able to attract.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Having Casey Warming back is I think is a big get too. He's been always active on social media. The tight ends always, whether with Coach Simmons, he was part of Coach Simmons' staff too, and even with the last staff, tight ends always had production. So,
absolutely, and he also has offensive line knowledge as well. So I think it's one of those things where you're getting coaches who they're not jacks of all trades per se, but they're people who have experience in multiple areas and they can lend those experiences to benefit the team. And I think that's something where I don't know how many times I've sat in the end zone and watched him work with the lineman and the tight end. And we saw, as much as we can say sometimes, the offensive line wasn't terrible. I thought play calling wasn't great, but that's just being nice about what it was last year. But that was last year. This is this year. I think this year it's a lot of hope, and I like having somebody that's familiar with the program as well and familiar with the culture.
Mm-hmm. And the winning culture. He was there when we were winning championships.
Yes. Casey's. This is what, his third FAMU coach.
Yeah.
Maybe his fourth. Yes, I know it's third for sure though.
Now, one person who wasn't there today was Nick Seawack. I think Coach Gray said that he felt ill today, so he didn't go to the 220 QB club. But he's the co-offensive coordinator, offensive line coach. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think he was with Coach Gray last year at Albany State.
Correct.
And I did a little digging, when we were first doing when we started getting names of the coaches of the rumors, and I'm guessing, but I think both Nick Seawack and I think Elijah Haggard and Coach Gray may have all been at University of Memphis maybe 3 or 4 years ago, because they were listed around 2001, 2002. I'm sorry, 2021, 2022, when Coach Gray had a 1-year stint as an offensive analyst. I think they were all there at the same time. So that speaks to the relationship. So it's not just, plucking people. And I'm making an assumption there just based on a time overlap, but just knowing their work and what they've been able to do, not only while he was physically in the same area, but also I think Elijah Haggard just came from University of Buffalo, because he moved from Memphis to University of Buffalo, and then I think Coach got him to come here. So both should bode well in terms of understanding what's being done, and also fit that mold of young coaches who continue to hone their craft and leave a mark here, and then perhaps go on to, I want to say bigger and better things, but get a promotion to higher levels of football.
Absolutely. Now, Clinton Portis, I don't know where he's going, but it's not going to be at FAMU. I doubt it.
Yeah. And I guess there was a question about Tariano Morgan. 2024, when I look back, it wasn't the best year. But I think 2023, they were in contention for the SIAC. It was one of those years they were actually competitive. So, and there was quite a turnaround. So, just looking at 2024, his last full season, probably doesn't do it justice.
Was that their second year in the SIAC or their first year?
He was there when they transitioned. His first year, he was head coach. They were still NAIA. The second year was their first year as a Division II program, and then the third year was their second year as a Division II program. So he went through the transition from NAIA school to a Division II.
Yeah. So okay. Well, let us get to the other side of a break, real quick, last break, and then we're going to wrap it up. Talk a little bit of FAMU basketball. Get y'all ready for the week or for tomorrow. See how y'all feeling about that, and kind of maybe see how y'all feel about this quarterback situation. In honor of Troy, it's never too early to get the folks heated about the quarterback battle that is or ain't there. How about that?
Well, we got it, and we also got to squeeze in golf. We hadn't said nothing about their championship tournament, as well as baseball, who get off to a little slow start. The bats are not hidden, but we'll talk about that too.
Absolutely, we'll put that in there, and it's gonna be some good times. All right, y'all. One more break, and then we'll come back to finish up here in the ONG Strike Zone.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
And we have to fund our kids in these colleges, and we have to make sure our kids have seats in these colleges.
And what about HBCUs? You mentioned.
Absolutely. You got to fund them all, and you got to make sure they're properly funded. You know, the real reason why I went after Comcast and Charter, it didn't have anything to do with my cable networks. It didn't. What happened was a gentleman wanted to do the Black College Sports Network in partnership with the HBCUs, and Comcast did not accept it, and that would have made a lot of money for these black colleges.
Absolutely.
And it would have educated the Black College Sports Network. This is what he wanted to do. That would have educated a lot of black kids. And when they didn't do that, that's when I came off the bench and said, okay, I'm going to light you up like a Christmas tree. Okay? That was the real reason why I got into it, was when I saw what happened with the Black College Sports Network, which I don't own. I just knew.
Why didn't you buy it?
I just knew. I just knew that these black.
I like that talk.
Right? I knew that these black colleges were going to benefit, and these black kids were going to get the education that they deserved and not have to pay.
There's a shot. It might be. It could be. Right field. Grand slam. What a shot. That's how you get hot, young fella.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do, and all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
Movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively.
Welcome back, O&G Strike Zone. If I give you a number, the number would be 4, because the champs are here, celebrating champions, and FAMU golf. We haven't got to talk about them yet. I'm just saying, I don't know what Coach Rice doing. I don't know what kind of NIL he giving them boys, but
keep it up,
right? Because we kick a butt and taking names.
Yeah, we participated, I believe. Let me just check real quick. I believe this was our first tournament of the spring, as a matter of fact. I want to make sure that was the case. Yeah, it was the first tournament for the spring. And it was the Arcus HBCU Championship. So we were playing our peers, and we won that tournament.
Yeah, in
we won it. And if I remember correctly, I think we won it last year too. So we defended that championship. And I can only imagine what's going to happen when, for those who don't know, yes, we have the putting green with canopies on campus. But for those who hadn't heard us talk about it before, we also would be, I have a home golf course that's right down from campus, the Capital City Country Club. They're going through some renovation after the tornadoes really did a lot of damage to the course itself and the trees around that course. But they're going to put some money into it and redo that course, and that's going to be the home of FAMU golf. So no HBCU already has what we have, and we're going to even have more. So our golf team is just only going to continue to grow and get better with Coach at the helm. But we were in the field with Alabama State, Alabama A&M, Southern, and NCU, and we finished with a total 759 overall plus 39. And the second place team was Alabama State, SWAC, plus 41. Alabama A&M plus 50, Southern plus 59, and Central plus 61. So
that's interesting.
Yeah. Why is that?
Because my recollection, and I mostly follow FAMU, but my recollection, I think it's like UAPB, one of the schools. I think UAPB or Alabama State are always in contention for a SWAC title. So I don't know if
I don't
UAPB
think
is for this
UAP was
tournament.
there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
So
think
I
it
was
was
wondering how we
tournament.
stack up against them because I seem to recall their name always
Yeah.
being near the contender for the SWAC title. So I wanted to see how we matched up, but it didn't sound like they were participating.
Right. So I play. I at the top of the leaderboard was I'm just call him Foul.
Yeah, don't try it.
I'm not
Don't
going to even
try
try
it.
to. I'm not going to butcher that man's name, but Foul finished +4 and won in the playoff on the first hole of the playoff. So nice start.
And I think he's one of our newer players too.
Yeah, Sasha Robinson, who's one of our returners, was what all SWAC. I mean, he was the SWAC player of the year last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Finished tied for third at +6. So as Keith been doing all show, another championship. We went over here at FAMU in a lot of different things. Man, if we can ever get basketball to that level consistently, man, Keith is going to be unbearable.
I absolutely will be. And the crazy thing with this golf team is you only have like 2 or 3 seniors, so that's interesting. I do wonder out loud, when we are talking about Capital City Country Club. It's a legendary golf course. It's been there for a long time. It's legendary for a lot of reasons, but is that a partnership that can be something that can be reciprocated for FAMU as well, where that becomes the home course? But can it also become something where they can potentially become like an advertiser with the university and other things like that? Because, it just seems like those are the kind of symbiotic relationships that you should have where, hey, this is the official golf course of FAMU golf team. And then maybe you get some type of partnership where boosters or some of these different affinity groups, maybe you get a discount if you become a member there or if you play around. Just putting that out there in the ether, I don't know. John Davis watches the ONG StrikeZone. I mean, I'm absolutely sure he does, but just kind of want to kind of have that idea of thinking if this is going to be our official golf course, it's got to mean something to us.
Yes, agree. Yeah, we're going to leverage those partnerships and take advantage of it. And I don't know for the golf course, and you guys would know much better than I would. I don't know if any major tours come through or any other. I don't know what the next level down is, from PGA, but any other tours that come through there that may enhance or leave something for FAMU as they depart on Sunday, as it relates to promoting the program, leaving enhancements for the golf course, things of that nature.
Oh, by the way, Edwin Moore, you are not correct. UAPB did not win it last year. We were in a Tallahassee regional, which Florida State hosted. We're defending SWAC champions in golf.
That we are.
But I know they're a top contender. I don't know if they won it in 2023.
The UAPB might have won the tournament because we had to go to the NCAA, and they still had that HBCU tournament. They might have
we
won
couldn't participate in.
We was playing Florida State and Georgia, so
yeah. And to your point though, like that kind of stuff kind of matters, and I would love to see if FAMU could be one of the host sites for an HBCU golf tournament. I mean, it's Tallahassee, the weather is like that, so there's an appeal to those schools that are further in the north to come down to Tallahassee. It might not be what it is in Orlando, but it's not bad golf weather.
Well, Coach did host up until I think it was 2 years ago. He used to host. He hosted a tournament for 3 years at the golf course in Franklin County, right? And they stayed out there and everything. They had a sponsor and the teams came down. They seemed to enjoy it. I think the storms might have did a little bit, and it was, and I think from a NCAA standpoint and things, I think that golf course just don't work anymore. So I'll be glad when we get our home course redone and finished, and hopefully we'll be able to host a HBCU tournament here in Tallahassee. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I mean, it is like I said, City of Champions. I mean, cross country championships for the SWAC are held in Tallahassee. We know who normally wins the cross country championships. I mean, just so but mentioning that, we kind of celebrating our championships, and the spring early championships, like the season hasn't even really gotten started for some of these sports, and in particular baseball. The season's early, and I've had to come over to Kelvin's side of thinking when it comes to FAMU baseball, where I understand, as bad as I want us to win every game, Coach Shoot ain't worried about the non-conference games. It's the conference that matters, and all them other non-conference games are just tune up, and it's just BP pretty much.
Yeah. And he comes on and tell y'all that every year, but having been in sports administrator, I know that's just how he approaches, especially early off season games. In midweek games, he's not going to throw anybody who's going to be pitching during the weekend. So he's going to limit the arms. Even if he pitch somebody, they only going to get an inning or two, no matter what the score is. So that's his approach, and he's been winning with that approach. Now, the one thing that is concerning right now, but it's early, is the bats have not been there. I think the one game we won, we scored 7, and outside of that outburst, I think we've been shut out. We've had 2. I think we may have gotten 4 one time, but our bats hadn't been there right now. We got 2 against Bethune-Cookman in the tournament. The Southern game on Sunday got rained out, and then of course on Friday, we got 4, and we lost to 11-4 to Alabama State.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's time for us to get somebody need to pray to Joe Boo or something. Like we got to get something going on. Like somebody bring your Haitian rum, something, because the bats asleep.
They'll get there. I have no doubt. Yeah, they got a home tournament this week where they'll be playing. They played Mercer first of all yesterday and today. We got blanked yesterday 7-0, and we lost today 5-1. So again, our bats just haven't woke up yet. And then we got Central Connecticut State for a 4-game set this weekend in Tallahassee. The weather's supposed to be pretty bad on Friday, so I don't know if they're gonna get that Friday game in. I know Florida State has already changed their Friday game to Thursday to get it in. The weekends look like it'll be fine, but that Friday is supposed to rain all day. So, and also, while we talking about baseball, we got the Savannah Bananas in town this week. Couple of games at Florida State baseball stadium. Then on Saturday, they play at football stadium, and
sold out.
Yeah, I'll be there doing my security thing on the field. So I'm looking forward to that experience, and we have 2 former players on the Savannah Banana group on the team.
Yeah,
and Ty Jackson and I forgot the other young man name off the top of my head. So, FAMU will be is represented also with the Savannah Bananas,
which I'm excited about. Just because it's an opportunity to show their skills. Like, because you think about even with Ty, he pretty much has been on that team since he graduated. Yeah. Like pretty much, and I believe he actually played when he was in college. So it's pretty cool to be able to see. And if you go check it out, he's number 7 for them on the Savannah Bananas website. Do a decent job of repping them out. And I'm trying to scroll through the page real quick to see if I see is that it can't be, is that no. But yeah, that's who I'm looking forward to seeing in particular. Yeah. And I haven't seen my boy for the Giants yet, so I'm waiting to see how that works out. Now, I would love to see. This is just my personal bias. I would love to see them rock those Indianapolis Clowns uniforms while in Tallahassee.
Yeah, that would be cool. For those who don't know, that's the Clowns are it's an ode to the Negro League Baseball, one of the signature programs in the Negro League Baseball. And also kudos Major League Baseball for us including stats from the Negro Leagues to the official stat history of Major League Baseball also.
Oh yeah, and I mean, Negro League Baseball wasn't that far from Tallahassee. About, I mean, modern day times, an hour and a half. So, Jacksonville, had a minor league baseball team. So,
yeah.
What's up, guys? Okay. Look.
So I think we covered all the men's sports. I don't think we talked about basketball in terms of we talked about the standings, but what's coming up. So tomorrow, both teams will be in Grambling, Louisiana.
I think. Is it Grambling or Southern?
Southern, I thought, play Bethune on HBCU Go.
Southern's tomorrow.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have Southern tomorrow. That's going to be interesting. The guys, of course, play the later game. I mean, right now, both teams are slated to make. I mean, everybody makes a SWAC tournament, but you're also at a place where both teams need to win. Like, and there we go. Thank you, Gerald Malachi Mitchell.
Yeah, correct. So yeah, the men play Grambling State. I think they got 8 losses. We got 7 losses. So we need to keep them. We need to win that game to keep them behind us. Plus, we need to keep Coach Curry from posting on Twitter
on a Saturday. Like, yeah, you can't give them a whole 3 days to post, like a whole week of Curry's post. So, and we say that with love, but you do kind of want to sweep Coach Curry for the season. It's nothing personal, but it's just business.
Yeah, absolutely. He got on the wrong colors now.
He got the wrong colors on, and I think some of that is going to be interesting to kind of see them on Saturday have that game at home. We do know, when they came to Tallahassee, the emotions got the better of them, and it definitely helped cost them the game. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does, along with some of the former FAMU players that are on the other side of that roster there, how they're going to play and how.
Because he didn't play. You're right. He didn't play in Tallahassee.
Yep, and FAMU didn't have the big men. So how does that affect the game too? Because Uncle Steve, you silly. But yes, I do know. I wrote my I was a history major in FAMU. That's what I did my research on. I told the people I was not writing about lynching. But I think it's gonna be interesting to see the style of play. Can FAMU score? And can FAMU keep pace with Grambling?
I mean, that's the bottom line for both teams, actually. But that's the bottom line. This last week, the first game, Alabama A&M, we 60 points again. The game, then we come back in Alabama State, we 80 points. Consistency, that's what I'm looking for now. Even with the Alabama State game, even though we control the boards, we also got having people in and out of the lineup. So Washington, Caleb didn't play the Alabama State game. He played the Alabama A&M game. But I'm really excited. It's kind of late, so you don't know how much of an impact it will have. But I'm really excited to see now that we have 2 bigs does that help us to be a little bit more consistent in terms of our defense? And also, will we speed the post more? Because, like I say, I think Tucson had 8 points in like 8 minutes against Alabama State, and a lot of his shots were actually mid-range. So he's a little bit more skilled with his shooting than Indama is. So we'll see. And then with the latest, man, I just don't know. I'll say this:
so up and down.
We're at the end of the season, and I still don't know that we know who's supposed to take the shots, right? When you look at both games this past weekend, Purifoy is supposed to take shots. McCarthy is supposed to take shots. Bria, the center, she's supposed to take shots. Everybody else got to play their role. We had too many people taking shots other than that core. And every time we do that, we struggle because they take shots, but they don't make them.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of easy misses too.
Yeah, the three names I just mentioned, those gonna be your most consistent shooters. So like with Jackson and the young lady who plays point guard just came back.
Ellington.
I think they're taking too many shots.
Everybody
the offense got to run through those three.
Yeah, everybody can't be a shooter. I mean, somebody got to play position basketball. So I think that's gonna be interesting to see. Then we did mention softball is gonna be here in Central Florida for the next couple of days. So it's gonna be interesting though. We had a SWAC tournament coming pretty soon. So that's gonna be the question: is how can this team switch this over? How can they keep the momentum going? Because we all know where it is basketball wise. Like you got one coach who's safe, one coach who's not as safe, and so you want to, from a fan perspective, right? Or I can't even say from a fan perspective, from a prognosticator's perspective, you want the coaching staff to make the athletic director's job hard. I love Mr. Campbell put up there, we've had no foolishness for X amount of days. So ain't a whole bunch of FAMU content to talk about that's not sports related. And it's the first time in a while. So thankfully that's the case. But even with that being the case, you want this kind of wrapping up in a way that makes things difficult so that when the orange or green game comes, we're not asking the questions of, you seen coach today?
Well, and just from a different angle, these last 3 games of the season going into the tournament, if you're going to make any noise in the tournament, you need some momentum and some confidence going into that tournament. So, if you can win 2 on the road and beat your rival at home, then, you have a little bit of swagger going into the conference. So, come on, ladies. Let's make it do what it do.
Finish strong. Make it hard for them to make a decision on coach pressure. Because Charlie's good, but we all know what the stakes are there. It's gonna be interesting. Everybody's excited because football season's coming in. So we're seeing some names, we're seeing some people. We don't want to say everybody. We're seeing check Gerald's article because you will get excited about football as much as the rest of us are. Before we go, quarterback battle. Is there a quarterback battle? What do y'all expect this year versus what we saw last year?
Well, we're going to have more experience just because, if Isaiah Noel starts, we're going to have more experience. James Hayes, we're pretty much, in terms of years of starting, he has 1 start when he was at Alabama State, which is 1 more than what R.J. Johnson had when he was at his previous school before he came to FAM. So if Noel starts, then, I expect to hit the ground running.
Yeah, and I'll just say that I agree, first of all, with that. And then I'm pretty sure if you heard Coach today, I think playing matters. Experience matters, leadership matters, success matters, and Isaiah Knowles has all that.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, he knows the system. So, initially when you gotta, and from the football standpoint, when you got a quarterback, a guy, you got a chance at a championship. So,
especially in the SWAT.
That's even at the NFL level, man.
Oh, yeah.
You got to have a quarterback. That's the one person who touched the ball every time, on offense. That is, so it matters. And I want to mention a few more coaches that we didn't for football right quick that we didn't mention. Elijah Haggard, who's the special teams coordinator and interior defensive line coach. We've got Dahan Mitson, who's the edge rusher outside defensive line coach. We got Orlando McKinley, who's a defensive analyst and assistant special teams coach, who also coached with Coach Gray at Albany before coming to the staff last year. That is a former FAMU DB starter. You got Mikael Victor, who was a All-American at Alabama State, all SWAC, and had a couple of quick stints with the NFL as a defensive analyst. And then you got Kennedy Marshall, who's coming from
Alabama,
one of the Alabama schools. I don't know which one. I can't remember.
I think she's Tuscaloosa. I think she worked in their football department before she came here.
Well, she's the director of on-campus recruiting. She was at the 220 club too. And let me see, make sure that's everybody. So as you can see, Coach Gray has got a complete staff. I don't know Brendan Deander, who's a student assistant. I think he was
here last year.
Yeah, a student assistant last year. So that's a complete staff of people that Coach Gray got. I think the attention to detail will be much better, and these young men would be held accountable and pushed to be great, to meet the standard.
Absolutely, sounds like a plan. Man, look, Brian, get well, because Brian over here catching the cooties.
I'm sick.
Look, hope you didn't catch with your girlfriend.
All you had to do, B, if you wanted to be off, all you had to do is say I need the day off. You had to say you were sick. you ain't even tell me. You tell Keith. No, I ain't gonna put that loss in out there. He did text me or something and say that he didn't think he was gonna be able to make it because. Yeah, so I'm gonna tell the truth.
Check his flight records. Make sure he ain't flying to Virginia.
Make sure. Hey, does he have his earring in?
With the fresh haircut, hey, Oh goodness. Well, for
one last thing,
what you got,
might as well mention March 100.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. I can't wait to see this whole MJ thing, but the incomparable, magnificent, often imitated but never duplicated. March 100, they're going to be featured, a part of this new release. I'm not sure, honoring
Michael Jackson
documentary of Michael Jackson. So Again, another great PR, an ambassador for the university, which the 100 always has been and is. And that's why I started off the show earlier today. There's so much winning going on. We winning.
A whole lot of good things, great things happening around campus. So it's a good time, especially like I said, university. We have some things on other places, but when it's especially athletics and all that kind of stuff, some good stuff. And ain't no more Jacksonville Sun. They're the jumbo shrimp now.
The spring game.
Spring game, yes, we got a date for it.
Yeah, we got a date. Everybody was thinking it was gonna be on Saturday. April 3rd is a Friday. So it look like it's gonna be a Friday game. I don't know if it's gonna be late enough where we can do the light show or not. But I guess with so much going on with Be Out Day and some other things planned for that week and weekend, I think they wanted to they didn't want to take away from Be Out Day, so it's gonna be on Friday.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I feel like in the past you've done both at the same time, but I understand why you separate them. Like, but it's to me it's better when it's on a Saturday, and especially on a Saturday with Be Out Day. It's a lot, but that's the closest thing you get to like a spring version of homecoming.
Yeah, I would have loved for it to been say 6:00 on Saturday, because I want the light show. And I also want to tailgate as long as possible.
Right. But it's so yeah, and because I think what they started practice, they got to start. They gave us some practice times and other stuff. So I definitely and we have had the questions asked. Will there be media availability? Because the orange and green game is notorious for you walk on the field and coach walk off and everybody's just looking like, so we ain't gonna talk to coach, huh?
Yeah, well, coach has already said that practice is open.
Yeah,
that was one of the first questions I asked, and for the fence club stuff. So I saw that HBCU game day involved got a nice little article and some pictures, and of course Gerald. So I saw some of the media folks out at practice on yesterday. Looks like practice is going to pretty much run. They look like they're going to actually practice on Tuesdays and Thursdays mostly during the week, and then once on the weekend. So they're going to have a break. When spring break happens, they're going to, of course, have that week off. But looking forward to it. You know, I always say, when it's early like this, and the coach had a funny little line that Gerald quoted, showed, and about having. I usually say T-shirt All-Americans myself, but coach said hats and panties, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think you can tell a whole lot when they ain't even in shells, but once they put on pads and somebody can hit you, then you kind of assess who got what.
Who got the juice now? Oh man. Well, guys, I think we are ready for the night. I will catch y'all on Sunday. We have a couple of weeks of basketball season and more taking place on Thursdays, so it's a great time to kind of just and get back to our Sunday. So Sunday I'll be here, or I'll be on Things Up right after Brian and AD Drew. So catch them Thursday night. I'll be back in a few weeks, but Wednesday, OG StrikeZone will be right back here. Any tips for upcoming guests that you may have lined up?
Well, we got a golf championship golf coach lined up, hopefully for next week, and we're waiting on our AD. So hopefully we'll get affirmative on that one. We'll see.
Won't we all? Cause hey, I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm about to write this article without him. So, Marcus, any parting shots before we head out of here?
No, just great to jump in and catch up with everybody, and looking forward to the rest of the spring sports, just continuing the winning ways. Really excited about softball.
I am too. I want to see what that basketball recruit we offered from what was it, last week? I want to see what he's about. So I kind of want to check that out. I think he's a guard. So I think, that's going to be interesting. Also, I'm like y'all, I'm ready for softball and baseball. Of course, the Orange and Green game, excited about that. But all the spring sports and kind of seeing what we've done with the track program, that has me excited. That gives you a lot of energy right there. So,
and I know you guys probably mentioned in the first half hour, but the men being third after I know we were like in the bottom half last year, but seeing the men's program come up is really boding well.
Absolutely. Coach is building this thing for the long haul. You already got the women winning back to back, sweeping, and now he's got the men on track. I think they have a real shot for the outdoor.
Absolutely. Any parting shots to you, Kelvin, before we head out of here?
No, I just want to thank everybody for watching us and sticking with us. And I guess I'll shout out my my basketball crew, because they won't post, but they watch the show and they let me know. So I'm trying not to miss any names. Of course, Gail when she's in town. Broomfield, we miss you. I know. Be glad to see you back. Miss Juliet Catledge, my partner. The Ellises. The Hadleys. All right. And who am I missing? The family. Can't believe I'm drawing a blank right now. Let's see what it is. Of course, Tommy Mitchell and Wilbur Johnson. And forgive me for the there's two faces and names I'm sitting right in front of me. I'm getting old now.
It happens to us all. Especially this time of night. Oh goodness. Well, I think everybody said the party.
The Currys, the Curry family.
Oh yes, that's my girl.
Yeah.
I used to work with Miss Curry when I worked at how I met Vaughn. That's how I know Miss Curry.
And Alpha Paramo. Ooh, yes, I got them all in. It came to me right before we got off. But shout out to y'all, man. I enjoy sitting over there over the years and watching basketball with everybody. And thank you all for watching the show also.
Absolutely. Well, for everybody here at BCSN, I almost said the wrong network. Want to make sure y'all check everybody out. Carlos Brown, Dr. Kenyatta Cavill. Look, Dr. Cavill is amazing. If you haven't met him in person, you've missed a treat. Definitely everyone in the OSG Strike Zone. Look, when you see him, say something to him, show some love. If you are so inclined and feel like making a monetary donation, hey, we always appreciate the kind that jingle, but we rather the kind that folds. Scan that QR code right there to the left of Marcus, and right, left, whichever your direction, and make a little donation, cup of coffee, everything Brian says. But be back here Wednesday, 8:00, OSG Strike Zone, ready for some of the best FAMU content you ever gonna get. All right, y'all, and the Rattlers will strike and strike and strike again.
Amen.
We out.
Thank you.